Hey y'all, it's Ashley. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. For today's video, we're going to be doing a back to school makeup look. Very simple, very easy. Anyone can do it. Before we get started, make sure the red subscribe button down below and hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a new video. Also, make sure to like, comment down below what you would like to see next. And be sure to follow me on my socials as well to get more content and behind the scenes things. And yeah, let's get started. First things first, I have some pimples that are popping out, so I want to go ahead and just cover those first. And we're going to do this like before your foundation and everything. So just a little dot wherever you have some pimples. I have some really small baby ones popping up. And then we're going to, hi Lily. And then we're going to let that dry down for a minute, and while it's drying we're going to move on to the next step because it's 6 in the morning and we don't have time to wait for our concealer to dry. So we're going to do other steps while we're waiting for it to dry down a bit. So for brows, you can do however you do your brows. This is how I do my like simple brows, and it's just the e.l.f. Sorry Lily. It's just the e.l.f. Wow Brow Tint. This is in the shade Taupe. I just run this through my brows. So it kind of gives it a little bit of a tint, makes it a little more fuller. And boom. It looks like I took however long. My brows used to take like 30 minutes because I'm a perfectionist with them. But it looks like I took a little bit of time on my brows, and all I did was just brush it through with a brow tint. So brow tints are so amazing. I love this one from e.l.f. I also tried the brow tint from Lime Crime. That was a really good brow tint as well. I don't remember how much the Lime Crime one is, but I know e.l.f. is a really good and cheaper option. And voila, brow tint. And I will just go in with my little brow pen. This is the NYX Professional Lift and Snatch in the shade Taupe. And just kind of fill in little sparse areas. And I love a brow pen much more than a pencil. I don't know, I feel like with a pencil, I'm just like using so much product to try and get it to show up. And a pen just kind of like shows up for me. So now those should be dry enough to make it a little more, what's the word? And when you let products like this dry down, it makes it a little more full coverage. Don't really know how it works, but it does. So I'm just going to blend out where I put the concealer, just kind of tapping on top of it, just so I don't spread it around too much. You can even go in with your fingers just a little bit. And obviously, the bigger your pimple, the more concealer you're gonna want to put on it, like this over here. Whereas these ones were kind of just really small. Even if you're not wearing makeup, it's still a really great tip to kind of get rid of the redness a little bit. Okay, I messed up. This should went first and then the concealer on top of it, just so the moisturizer doesn't wipe it away. So when you go in to do it, make sure you put your moisturizer first. We're going in with the e.l.f. Daily Hydration Moisturizer. Do your moisturizer, sunscreen, all that, and then put the concealer on top, and then do your brows while it dries, and then just tap over it like I did. And also apply your primers as well before you go in and do the concealer thing. I don't know how I messed that up. I really don't feel like redoing this. Just make sure you do your moisturizer, sunscreen, primers, whatever you're doing before your foundation, and then put the concealer on top. Do your brows real quick, come back to the concealer, blend it out, and then do the rest of your face. And for this primer, it is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I only put this on my nose. I'll blend it out in a minute. My chin area and a little bit on my forehead as well. So these are the places that I put it. I'm gonna go with the e.l.f. Matte Oil Control Primer. And then this is just how I prime and prep my skin. You prime and prep however you prime and prep yours, whatever works for your skin. And I'm now going into the e.l.f. Makeup Mist and Set Setting Spray just to finish off my face prep. And then we will go into the foundation. And so obviously for school, you don't want like a heavy just foundation. I mean, if you are looking for more of a full coverage foundation, I do suggest the KVD Lock-It Foundation. It's very full coverage, but also kind of feels like a second skin as well. If you want more of just a soft coverage, then I like the Morphe 2 Hint Hint Skin Tint. I'm in the shade Hint of Ivory. I'm gonna shake it up a little bit. It's one of my like favorite skin tints. Taking a beauty sponge. It's so beautiful and almost a little glowy as well, but like not too glowy. It just gives you a nice fresh base. And I also kind of avoid the eye area a little bit whenever I do my foundations, just so it doesn't get so cakey with the foundation and the concealer and the powder and just everything that get layered on top of it. Concealer, I'm just using the Tarte Shape Tape. A little bit goes a long way with this concealer. I know back in 2016 everybody was just stacking it up on their faces, but a little bit goes a long way because it's a very thick formula. And so a lot of people are like, oh, but it's very cakey, it's very this. It's a little bit goes a long way, and it's not cakey at all because it is very full coverage. It's a very thick formula. You do not need a lot of it. And that's it. That's all you need. I'm just gonna blend it out. If I did my makeup, it was very glam. Most people kind of just wore something like this. So cute. Most people just wore something like this where it's just very toned down. Not me. Mine was very much in your face glam, when I did wear it at least. Eventually I just like didn't even care anymore. We're also gonna bring this concealer on the eyes as well. I just got to a point where I just did not care. I did not want to get up because it takes me like 2 hours, an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on my mood, depending on the day, depending on what look I'm doing. It could take me up to 2 hours to do makeup, and I was tired of waking up at 4 in the morning just to get ready for school. So I just stopped wearing makeup altogether to school eventually. But when I did, it was very glam because I was not one to do simple makeup. There's nothing wrong with simple makeup, but that's just not me. So now we're just going to set everything. I would like to start with the under eyes first. I'll go ahead and set on top of my eyes as well. And for my under eyes, I always go with a sponge just so I can really get in there. The rest of my face, I just use like a brush. I'm just gonna give it this nice big fluffy brush and just kind of start tapping over the rest of my face. Everything is nice and set. If you like to use cream products instead of powder, that's totally okay. Just make sure you use the cream products before you set. If you prefer the powder products, then that's what I'm going to be using today. I'm using the Ellen Tracy contour palette, and we're just going to do a little bit of contour and a little bit of blush just to bring the face back a little bit. I'm just going to mix these two shades just a little bit. So we don't want to go too heavy. I'm just going to go kind of right here above the ear and just kind of go straight in here just to kind of get some color in there. And if you need to You can also take your hand and just do this. Put your thumb to your nose and your pointer finger to the tip of your ear. And you also have a perfect contour line if you need that. And I also like to go in here. I don't know what this part of your head is called, but I put it there as well. I'm just going in with this brush and just kind of stipple it out a little bit. Also make sure to blend upwards and not downwards, so you're not bringing your contour down, but you want to bring it up. You see, now we already have a little bit of color to the face, looking a little more alive and not so dead. And then just if you use blush, put on your favorite blush. I use the Ofra Blush Rose. It's one of my favorites. Kind of empty bag. It's really pretty, really soft, and just put on just a tiny bit. And we're just trying to add color to the face. I don't want to overpower it too much. Just that's very soft. Across my forehead, just to add more color to the face. So now we look a little more alive. Totally forgot a step while we were doing the contour. So we're gonna go back real quick. So whatever you use to, contour, bronze, use whatever you used for it. I'm gonna put it in the crease of the eyes. I'm just gonna mix my two colors, tap off the excess a little bit, and then I'm just gonna run it through the crease. You do not need a fancy makeup palette, just very simple. A bronzer shade will work just fine. You just start in the crease and you're done. So I'm just gonna add some mascara. I'm just using the Coca-Cola X Morphe. It's one of my favorites. Oh, we're gonna take this lash curler. We're gonna hit this lash curler. So now you're looking a little more awake with the mascara. I'm not gonna use liner because I want my eyes to be a little more awake and not, smaller, because usually when you use black eyeliner, makes your eyes smaller. And if you use like a nude, like a white, it make them bigger. I'm just gonna leave my eyes as is. I'm not gonna do any nose contour today. If you want to for your own school makeup, that's totally fine. I just want to be able to show people an easier, you don't have to do all the crazy contour. I mean, if you do, you can do a little trick, whatever. Try to make it as simple as possible. I mean, it's school. So now we're gonna go into highlighter. Just go in with your favorite highlighter. I'm gonna go in with the ABH Cosmetics Amrezy highlighter. I've had this highlighter for years now. Basically, I think since it came out. And I still have a lot in it. And I used to use this one like every day. Like, this was my highlighter. If you don't like highlighter or don't use highlighter, you can skip this step easily. If you do like highlighter, this is how I apply mine. I go in with a fan brush for my forehead and chin because it applies less product. I'm gonna do a quick little dusting on the center and above the eyebrows, and then a quick little dusting on the chin. And that's just with one dip, so it's not too much, but I still have a nice little glow. And then I'll go in with a brush like this and go on cheekbones. This highlighter's so pretty. You could even go in with a softer highlighter if you wanted. Keep this more natural looking, as natural as makeup can get. Well, this is as natural as my makeup gets. And then I like to go in with a smaller brush and go in the inner corners a a little bit on the nose if you like. And go a little bit on the Cupid's bow. I forgot what it was called for a minute. I also like to go a little bit on the bottom as well. I like to go in with a flat brush and go in with the, obviously you don't have to use as many brushes, but I like them. They fit nicely in the different areas that I want them to go. Oh, you can't even see that. And then I'm also just gonna go in with my finger and just kind of lightly tap on my lid. That's sparkle. So we're almost done. We just have 2 things left to do, which is the lips and setting spray. So I'm gonna go ahead and just set my face. Just kind of fan it out. And then for lips, you can do whatever you want to do. You can do just chapstick and call it a day, which is what I have on right now. It looks totally fine. But if your natural lips don't have that much color, but you still want more of like a balm and you don't like a heavy lipstick, then I definitely suggest a tinted lip balm. It just adds some color while also being nice and moisturizing. And there's also, I'm gonna mix the 2 that I have. You have a lip tint. Whatever lipstick you want to use for school, totally up to you. So yeah, this is my back to school makeup. It's still a little glam, a little bit, like a soft glam. I can't help it. I can't do natural makeup to save my life. Because this is as natural as it gets. But yeah, this is the look. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to hit the red subscribe button down below and hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a new video. Or also be sure to like, comment down below what you'd like to see next. And also be sure to follow me on all my socials so you can see the other content and behind the scenes things. And yeah, bye. Hit that bell so you get notified every time I post. It looks like, excuse me. My lips are too dark, but that's fine because I'm not going to school. I already graduated. That's not creepy at all, Lily. Hit that bell so you get notified.